3 weeks ago, I told you that a new RC had turned up that wasn't released yet, and I gave you a few options to choose from. 91% of you were wrong. It's from CEN Racing, and it is their new F450 that they've just released. When I say new, it's the revised F450 they've released. New colours, a few upgrades, and it looks absolutely awesome. That's right, CEN have got another F450 out. This is the KG1 Forged edition. The one before this was the American Force edition. So this has got new wheels, new coloured bodies. It's got this red, or like candy red, and the silver. Mine's the candy red. It looks absolutely insane. I'm not sure if there's been any other changes, but I have got an American Force edition still in its box as well. So we will get that out as well and compare them side by side. But first of all, let's have a look at this new KG1 Forged edition. It looks mental. Oh yeah. You get a set of your KG1 Forged decals as well as your CEN Racing ones, wheel hex and some Allen keys. Your standard CEN Racing AMP 30 transmitter. It's not my favourite, but it is functional and it does have quite a few features on it. You've got a channel 3, you've got your steering trim. You've also got steering and throttle dual rates, I believe, using that function button. But yeah, it's not my favourite. It's a bit big and bulky, but it's relatively easy to drive with it and it does the job. Anyway, that is not what you were here for. Whoa, Vin Diesel approves. So it's got this really nice, like deep, I'd say a deep candy red maybe. Not sure how well it's coming out on the camera, but it looks really nice. There's your KG1 Forged rims. They're not forged, they're plastic, but you know what I mean. Obviously we've got jewelries at the back. This is an F450 Platinum edition. And like I mentioned, licensed by Ford, and also in conjunction with K1 Forged. That rear bed being, it's like a matte textured rear bed, that makes a massive difference. The American Force one is just the same body colour, but that, having that like that just makes a huge difference to how it looks. Right, let's get that body off and have a look underneath. I really wish manufacturers would put body clips on that are slightly angled up so you can actually get a grip on them. So I don't believe much has changed underneath. It's got the same ESC, it's got the same 550 motor by the looks of it. I'm sure the American Force edition doesn't have metal shocks, so we'll have to check that. That is an OEM Savox servo, and that's an OEM Hobbywing ESC. The gearbox, you can change the gearing in there. You've got like a torque setting and then you've got a speed setting. It comes out the box with like the torque setting, so it's not as fast as it can go if you swap the gears around. Multi-link suspension with panhard bar front and rear. Unlocked diffs. Now that's one of the complaints about these, is they don't do too well off-road because the diffs are not locked. I've got some diff locks, so they will be fitted at some point. Also got sway bars front and rear. The suspension feels really nice, very nice. Right, let's get the American Force edition out, which is just down there. Let's put them side by side. So side by side, there are a few differences that most people might not spot, and there's probably some that I've not spotted as well. Firstly, look at the camber on the new one, and then the camber on the older one. There's slightly more negative camber on that. I don't know if that's been done intentionally, but I don't think you can adjust the camber, so it must all be in the front hubs. Also, this one's got silver links. All the links on this are black. This one, silver. Slightly more ride height as well. What we'll do is I'll put the bodies on in a minute, although you can kind of see there, it does sit a little bit higher. It's not the ground clearance is the same. It's the actual ride height is different, and it looks like the sway bar links, so the drop links for the sway bars, I'll show you that one on the old one, and then the new one, they're slightly longer on this. Everything else looks exactly the same. I may have missed some stuff, I'm not sure. I may have missed something out. And like I mentioned, this has got alloy adjustable shocks, whereas the shocks on the older one are plastic. They're still adjustable, but they're plastic ones. If I just lift that, this one's got a little bit more travel in it. Right, I put the bodies on and I put them side by side so you can see there's a slightly different ride height. So I just checked the body posts. The body posts are in the same position, so it's definitely not the body that's been raised up. Look at the difference in height. It's a little bit higher up. Oh, we've also just realised, look, front end looks different there. Which one do you prefer? Oh, I don't know if I like the big Ford sign on the front actually, although it does look cool. I'm interrupting this video to bring you some breaking news. I've got through from CEN all the differences between the KG1 Forge, so this new one, and the old American Force. So I'll stick it on the screen, but you can see I've mentioned most of the main differences, which is obviously the different wheels. The bed lining is like a textured black now, whereas there was no bed lining before. The upper and lower links are black anodized. You've got that genuine Ford looking grille on there now, whereas the old one was slightly different. The springs are different colour as well, so the old one was silver and now they're red. The shocks, we've already seen that they're alloy, they are actually slightly longer. So the old ones were 80mm plastic oil shocks, and these are now 90mm alloy housed pewter anodized shocks. But one of the things I didn't spot was the wheels. So front and rear on the American Force are 37mm. So you've got two 37mm wheels there, whereas on the new one, the rear ones are actually 31. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it very well on camera, but there is actually a difference in the width. I'll line them up, I'll line that one up, you can see there. And noticeably on the sidewall, if I show you the sidewall of there, slightly sticking out. Whereas if you look at these, they're actually stretched on there. And then the fronts again, 37mm, whereas the fronts on this are 35. So not quite as obvious on the front, but again, you got a bit more sidewall if I show you that there, and then that there. So yeah, wheels, different sizes between the front and the rear. I'm glad that we got that update before I finished doing this video, because it means you know all the differences between the two. There's lots of different uses for these, and it's hard to kind of put a single use for it on it. People make them into low riders, they make them into high lifts with 4x4 like off-road tyres on them, all sorts of stuff. You can get various upgrades for them, you can get a tow hitch, I've seen people put a fifth wheel on them as well. Loads of options for them. This is currently running 2S with the like the higher torque setting. That's full throttle. Let's do a little speed pass. This is full throttle with the slower gearing. I'd say that's actually pretty scale. I don't think there's any need for a speed run on this, but it just looks so nice. How nice does it look? So cool. One thing I would like to see improved is the fitment of the body. I mean, I've put some little pads under there, but it still moves about quite a bit. So it's a bit rattly and noisy out of the box, so I've quietened it down a bit. So it is four-wheel drive, but the open diffs, just generally they're okay. So general driving about, they won't cause you a problem, because if you come to an obstacle like this, there you go, look. See that open diff, you've just not got the grip. That wheel's spinning, and you've got no traction. Should be able to, though, with a bit of a throttle blip, you should be able to get over there. Overall though, I'm a big fan of these. There's so many possibilities for them. Low riders, high lift, air ride, fifth wheels for towing rigs. They get a big thumbs up from me, the F450 dually. Anyway, that's it for this unboxing for this new CEN Racing K1 Forged Edition. I hope you agree with me, it looks so nice. I got some big plans for this, and I got some load of upgrades going on it. Before I do that though, I think what I'm going to do is take these two out on a trail. I'll see you next time.